My favourite show on TV at the moment is My Kitchen Rules. Don't ask me why, I can't explain it. My girlfriend said one night, right, let's sit down and watch this. I said, no way, I'm not watching this crap, it looks terrible. After the first episode, I was hooked. My MySky was set, it was on Series Link, and I have not missed an episode. And last night, the final happened, and I am so gutted because I had two couples on the show that I could not stand. I could not stand Peter and Gary, and I couldn't stand the Bug-Eye Fish girl and her friend. She won it. The people that should have won it are on the phone with me right now. I've got Emily from the Asian sisters, Carly and Emily. Emily, I'm so pissed off.
That is the most hilarious intro I've ever heard, full stop.
Honestly, I'm so gutted. I'm so passionate about this. You guys should have won.
You are so funny. Do you know what? We have been so thrilled and surprised by the amazing support we've had from you guys in New Zealand. It's been unreal. You guys have really gotten behind us. I don't know whether it's because we look a little bit Maori, who knows, but we're loving it. We're loving it. Thank you.
It's not because you look Maori. I think it's because there's a lot of strong personalities on that show. There's a lot of people that it's easy not to like. And you guys are, I don't know, you're young, you're great cooks. I mean, everything you cooked looked amazing.
Oh, thanks. You didn't have to eat it. It may have looked good, but maybe it didn't taste as great.
No, seriously, I would love to have a yum cha cooked by you and your sister. It would be outstanding.
Come to Melbourne and we will make it happen.
Back
to your question. Sorry, I didn't even answer it. I think everyone was the same thing happened in Australia when the show aired. People were pretty surprised at who won, and especially with the way the show was edited. You know, the girls from Adelaide were fairly dislikable, if that's a word, at the start, because they're pretty harsh personalities, and they really grated on many people, fans, viewers, and even a lot of the contestants as well. So when they, the way we watched it and how it was edited and it was cut up on telly, it was fairly accurate to what it was as we experienced it. But yeah, it really highlighted the fact that they were disliked by some, and then still managed to take out the competition.
Exactly.
I guess, yeah, most people had their thoughts on Nick and Rocco, I think, and we were certainly 100% behind Nick and Rocco. We were really hoping they'd win, but hey, the best cooks won, I guess, and Jen is an amazing chef. She's definitely got some skills up her sleeve.
What about this rumour that Rocco was hooking up with your sister?
Do you know what I love? New Zealand's actually quite far behind. This show aired in Australia and it finished airing in April or maybe even May, I think. So that's kind of old news now, but that rumour is true. I will confirm it for you now.
So that means he's not gay then?
Look at you, Brad. You've got this scoop first. Rocco is not gay.
Because I honestly thought he was. Oh, well, that's good. Are they together?
Yeah, they're still dating. It's been like a year, so there you go.
Oh, man, see, we are so far behind in New Zealand. We only just got electricity as well, so, I mean, slowly just catching up. Okay, I want to ask you about Peter and Gary, because they had a thing for you guys. They are the most unlikable people I've ever seen on television. What goes through your mind when Peter and Gary, more so Peter, is critiquing when he's, talking about the food, and what are your thoughts on that couple?
Well, we were trying to get along with everyone. In real life, we don't have any enemies. We have a lot of friends, and we don't, we enjoy people's company, and we don't like to make a fuss or stir a commotion. We're not controversial in any way, shape, or form. So for us to have been the target of Peter and Gary was just mind-blowing. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of filming that goes on, and the show's heavily edited, and they produce a 1-hour show. But so much more content was offered by Peter and Gary against us. Like, they really had it in for us. They just would slag us at every opportunity. And we genuinely did nothing wrong. The reason behind it all is purely that they are very competitive, and obviously we're competitive, but we took their chance at the $250,000. We also made them go around the country a second time because our score was better than them. But what they forget is we didn't actually vote. We couldn't vote for ourselves. They were calling us cheats and liars, but at the end of the day, we couldn't even vote for ourselves. So I don't know where they got that from, and they also had a problem because they said that we voted them lower than they deserved, but we actually gave them the second highest vote in their instant restaurant from the whole group. So they just had it out for us because we cooked last and they were in safe position number 3, and then when we beat them, were bumped into the bottom 3 and they had to go around the country, and then we eliminated them later on in the series. So they're just
take that.
Cranky and used to success, and we took that chance from them.
Isn't it funny? This is a cooking show, yet the main reason for viewing is the personalities and the people on it. I mean, I've never watched a show before, and I'm going to be honest here, like Peter and Gary, like just the sight of him makes my skin crawl. Also, the girl who won, was it Jen, who's the Thailand?
Jen. Yeah, Jen. She's definitely an interesting character. She's rather aloof and pretty abrupt. But, yeah, there were some huge characters there. And Carly and I, sure, we talk a lot. But, wow, when we were in amongst that group of people, we just sort of sat back and went, whoa, these personalities are absolutely wild. And especially with people like Peter and Gary, or Peter in particular. Peter was kind of like the mouthpiece for the duo, Peter and Gary. Gary was just as malicious and just as nasty to us behind the scenes and on camera. But Peter was just the voice of the both of them. So I think the two of them, a lot of it was for show, I do think, because I know Peter had mentioned to us that he did want a job as a shock jock in radio after the show. So I think he had to turn it up a little bit. And then it did get nasty, and then they stopped talking to us when the cameras weren't even filming. And yeah, it was pretty funny, and no one could understand it, and even the producers thought it was hilarious. So it made it interesting, that's for sure. It made it interesting for you guys to watch, and it made it certainly hilarious for us to be a part of. So
Thomas and Carla, as bad as they looked on TV?
You know what? The editing, there's heaps of editing, as I've said a number of times. Most people were portrayed very, very accurately. I would say that whilst everyone has made those, you know, the gestures and they've said the things that they've said and they've smiled, blah, blah, blah. But I think poor Thomas has copped it from on the editing front more than anyone. We had no idea. We knew that Peter and Gary would be, you know, that they'd look like this when the show aired. But as with everyone else in Australia, we had never seen the show until it started airing on free-to-air TV. So as it kind of unrolled and we were watching, Peter and Gary were accurate. Yep. You know, Megan and Andy were accurate. They're pretty feisty. Yep. And then you got Jen and Lee, who were quite accurate as well. And I think the most inaccurate team was probably Thomas and Carla. I mean, they aren't what they were portrayed to be. And I know Thomas has had some serious run-ins at the pub. Someone threatened to glass him because it was full on. And I do feel sorry for him, because despite the fact that he has made some of those snide remarks, for every snide remark, he's probably put 10 positive things or 20 positive comments off the back of that. He's actually a really nice person, and to watch that character unroll on television, I was like, whoa, we did not see it coming. No one on the series saw it coming.
What about the soldiers? To me, some of the nicest guys I've seen. I had so much time for those guys.
Yep.
I've seen photos of you with them. Do you guys get a bit of time off during filming just to get around and, you know, hang out and all that?
We really didn't get much time off at all. I think there was a point where in about 40 days we had 3 or 4 days off total. And on those days off, you're pretty much spending them trying to cram new recipes into your head, because you don't actually get, people always say, did you get recipes? You don't. You don't get to have your recipes with you. You need to know everything from your head. The clock is the clock. As it counts down for you, it counts down for us.
Yeah.
The time's up, whether it's on the plate or not. You don't have that time to think, you know, you don't have all day to go, oh, yeah, I'm going to cook this tomorrow. You don't actually know until the judges tell you what the challenge is. It's a really tough thing, so you really need to have a full bank of recipes to call upon for if and when that challenge might, require that recipe. So on your days off, you really didn't socialise or do much. Certainly if you practiced any dishes, you'd bring other teams or your friends around to taste them.
Yeah.
But, yeah, hanging out with Dave and Scotty was just awesome. As you saw them on telly, that's who they are. They're just the most genuine, down-to-earth, lovable blokes. No one could say a bad word about either of them.
Absolutely.
They're just the best. And Scotty and I actually hosted a culinary tour through Vietnam together, so we've been enjoying each other's company even post-show. So he's a great guy. Could not say a bad word about him.
So this is all obviously led to pretty cool things for you. Like, you must get noticed everywhere you go now. What's the main thing people say to you? Hey, oh, you, TV, cooking, or what?
Do you know what? Most people go, I hated Peter and Gary. I was shouting at my TV for you, girl. That's pretty much the main thing. That was our controversial point in the show, is that we had Peter and Gary on our backs, and we were so lucky that everyone did, you know, they did have our backs, and they were voting for us and cheering on us as opposed to Peter and Gary. But having said that, when we looked online, we were advised not to go on Twitter and look at it. We were banned from our Facebook accounts. We weren't allowed to be liaising with anyone, except for obviously now with New Zealand it's aired a bit later, so we have been back online. But we were lucky we didn't cop it from the general public. except Peter and Gary had a few hardcore fans, those people that just love controversy, and they were totally getting behind Peter and Gary, and anything Peter and Gary said was gospel. So we certainly copped it online, but we had more friends and fans than we had haters. So we were one of the lucky teams.
Well, all I can say is that I need something else to watch now because the show's finished. I don't know what I'm going to do. My life's over, Emily. I don't know what I'm going to do now.
Your life's not over, but it is funny. There's a bit of an overwhelming feeling, especially for us when it was on TV and then all of a sudden it was done and dusted. And towards the end there, it sort of just came and went. It moved in Australia. They put it on a couple more nights a week, and the whole country was getting into it. And we couldn't even do our grocery shopping without people stopping us. So it's been really fun, and it was so great that it was so well received.
Love it. Hey, mate. Well, it's been awesome talking to you. Really interesting getting some of the behind the scenes sort of stuff.
Ooh,
we're gonna get back. Yeah, the goss. We've got to get back into the countdown, Emily. But we'll let you go, and best of luck with whatever you get up to in the future, and keep cooking.
Unreal, thank you, and thanks for having me. This is my first New Zealand interview. What a pleasure.
Oh, good. Well, hopefully there'll be more. No, actually, I hope there's no more because I don't want any other stations to talk to you.
Sure, whatever you say, Brad.
Sweet. Thanks.